had a neighbor jump my fence and cut down 10 of my trees. And I had to move. This like
What?
Russian dude. Yeah, like had undocumented workers jump the fence, cut down my trees, and then I went to confront him about it, and it was like this whole nightmare. But Kathy Griffin had a crazy one too.
Pull up Whitney Cummings TMZ.
Well, the neighbor saga was like such
For real?
a nightmare. Well, it was a
Why
nightmare.
did he cut your trees down? He wanted a view of the hills?
So that they're there for a couple
Oh,
reasons.
neighbor tree hatchet?
Shit. Oh, God. What the fuck? I've never seen this article. When you're coming to neighbor, you killed my trees, but you can't stump the cops. Okay, I never said stump the cops.
By the way, please say that you said that. That would be so great.
Did you know that I didn't call
Why
the
did
cops?
he do this? Why did he do this?
Okay, because here's exactly what happened. So I hear chainsaws. And in LA, you don't know how close something is or how far something is when there's like construction and you're in a canyon or whatever. And I hear it and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I guess that's just my inner monologue, like just chainsaws going off. Cause I was like, that sounds close, but it's probably just, in my head. And then I don't know where my dogs are and they're barking and I go up and there's 3 guys on my property with chainsaws. They've already cut down, I mean, when I say like 45 feet high pines and cypresses, which it is a felony in California.
Yeah.
Trees that mature. These are, later when they estimated this, they're like, this would take $1.4 million to get all this back, to restore this. You can't sue him because you'd have to put a lien on his house. Do you really want to put a lien on the house of some Russian motherfucker that just jumped your fence and cut down 10 of your trees? So I run up there, I see these like 3 guys, they don't speak English. And I was like, what are you doing? And they were like, oh, he told me we were allowed to. And I said to them, I was like, you need to leave now. Like, leave right now.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Do they have a picture of it?
I do. I do in my phone somewhere. But I was like, you guys got to go. Get out of here. I never saw you. Like, I never saw you. Like, this guy put you in danger. Don't ever work for him again. Like, my dogs could have killed you. I would have shot you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So just leave and everything will be fine.
Was this the house?
That's not the house.
Jesus
No.
Christ, that's a fucking
It was
big
in,
house.
hold on, but that was the house. Go back. Hold on. Go back to wherever. It's this house. But this house right here and here. Wait. No. That's my new house. Don't work that. That one.
Click on the picture she has tapped on, Halston, so I can see it. No, not that one. The fucking one you...
Yeah.
You couldn't see. You can't see her.
Yeah, the 2 below there. The 2 below there.
Underneath.
Yeah.
Go lower. Go right.
The trees would be behind where the photographer is taking. Yeah. So they would have been where we're sitting, the trees, like an acre up.
Where was that?
And up in Studio City. And I go up there, and Russian men, I later learned, this is a generalization obviously, but I feel like I'm allowed to criticize Russia right now. Is that okay?
Not in this room, you're not.
I was talking to somebody who's like, a man that's in his 60s that like grew up in certain parts of Russia, they believe that anything that a woman thinks they own like belongs to them. That's the house. And so
it's a great house.
He jumps my fence. The trees are 10 feet into my yard. There's no way, you could justify this. So I start.
Those are the trees right there?
They were up here higher, like up there.
Okay.
Because it's also, in California, tall trees serve as not only privacy, those tips, see those tips, those are them.
Those?
Yep. And then 2 pine trees that were 45 feet tall. I mean, it was like, it's devastating. You don't realize how emotionally attached you were to trees that you never noticed before until they're chopped down in front of you.
We had, this is not going to sound as highbrow, but we had what's the fucking thing, a bird of paradise.
Yeah.
We had a bird of paradise that in our backyard at our old house that blocked a lot of the noise from the alley and any of the lights from the alley. And
your property value from going up.
Yeah. Well, no. It was when the guy cut it.
Yeah.
He cut it to make it healthy on his own. Didn't ask me. Like, I don't give a fuck about the health of a bird of a paradise.
Yeah.
I want everything blocked. He decided it needed to be cleaned up, and now I could see a Jack in the Box sign very clearly from my backyard. And I was like, dude, you just ruined I got in my pool, and now all I see is Jack in the Box. And he was like, you don't like it? And I was like, Jack in the Box? No, I love Jack in the Box. Don't get me wrong. I love Jack in the Box. But I don't like to see it all day, every day, as an advertisement in my backyard. And he was like, but Jack in the Box is good, right? And I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? Jack in the Box?
But so then I jump the fence. I burst into the guy's home. Like, I open his door, go into his house.
I love how off kilter you are.
That's what I've learned. I know that, even I know that's wild.
Yeah.
And go in, and I look to my left, and I see a room that is set up like a hospital room with like lotion on the wall and a TV, you know, fashioned.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I look over and there's a girl who's probably looks like 14 or 15 who is hanging off the side of the bed that looks handicapped, and whether it's palsy, something.
Yeah.
So then my brain went, like, who lived, it was like set up, like this is this child's life, you know,
Yeah.
teenage handicap. And I was like, you know, you can see Universal City from here. You can see the fireworks. You can see the Harry Potter thing. So I'm like, he probably did it so she could have a view. If he had just asked me, if he had just knocked on my door, and I would have paid for it. I would have done the entire thing. If he said, hey, the fireworks go off at Universal, we can see him from here. My daughter would just, I'd be like, oh, I got this, dude. I'll cut him down.
Wow. And so is that what ended up happening?
I had to call the police because they're like, you have to. Like, this is a felony.
You've now broken into his house.
And then I've now broken into his house. So, because I said to him, I was like, you jumped my fence and cut my trees.
Yeah.
He goes, how do you know they were your trees? And you're like, what? They were on my fence. How do you know the fence is in the right place? You're like, how do I argue with this person? But in Russia, that thug mentality of like, it's mine and what are you going to fucking do about it? And he's like, I'll see you in court. Great. And you're like, oh, you have so much leverage when you're that crazy.
Yeah, well, it's overwhelming how difficult it is to fight someone who doesn't give a fuck. When someone doesn't give a fuck, you're like, oh, I can't win because you don't give a fuck. That's fucking.
Yeah.
We had a friend,
and now I have to sleep next to you, and you're crazy.
We had a friend put a wall up. They had their house. Their neighbors put a wall up on their driveway, like on the edge of their driveway down the thing. And now they can't get out of their car on one side of the car. And I was like, what the balls on some
There's
people?
nothing worse than having animosity with a neighbor. I mean, I had a pit in my stomach. I was so enraged because every time, it's all I could think about.
But it's nice to know that Kathy Griffin had it too, even up in Calabasas.
Yeah, can you look at the Calabasas thing? She bought this wild house and the guy was just blasting music all day, all night. It was like an older guy. And it was like, I mean, when you're in your own home constantly.
Neighbor, just type neighbor.
The amount of money you spend and you're dealing with someone else's noise, like that is.
This is why she left the United States.
Did she?
It's all going to be severed head stuff, Halston. You got to be
it's
really specific.
So much severed head shit. But I actually moved and then I went to England and I had posted on social media that I was gone. I came back and someone had scratched a smiley face into my door, my front door. And I know it was him.
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.